exactly the same here in this quarter-final. It would be a third semi-final for Tuga if he's able to win this, and only the second semi-final for Tor if he's able to get a victory.
Let's talk about team selection, because a few surprises in the lineups, to be honest with you. We are seeing Tuga not using that. Team of the year, Van Dijk. Team of the season, Van Dijk, I should say, excuse me. But not only that, both players using team of the year, Kylian Mbappe, on 7 chemistry instead of that team of the season on 10, which means he would actually have more statistics than the 7 chem player.
Again, it can come down to who you're comfortable using at home. A lot of people would have made that purchase and actually used Team of the Year Mbappe when he was first introduced to the game, because he was the best foot item around, in my personal opinion. And if you're used to playing with him, even if it's on 7 chem, 10 chem, you're just going to feel natural. You know what runs he's going to be making. You know where he's going to be on the pitch. So I can understand that decision, even though it might look a little bit silly looking in from the outside.
We are underway here, as you can see. And this is going to, in my opinion, be the pace of the game here. And I would like to see Ajax Tor just try and pressurize Tuga, make him feel a little bit uncomfortable. And one way that you can do that is by looking for a searching long through ball to try and get behind that defense early on. Really stress the defense. And maybe try and win the ball back in some of these high areas of the pitch.
It's a strange position to be in when you go up against a player who is just going to be knocking the ball around the park and building it up slowly, looking for that space, because you want to pressure them. You want to win the ball back in dangerous areas. However, you're then just playing into their own game. If you go for that ball, if you open up spots, they're going to take advantage of it. Kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. As you can see, Tor has 11 men behind the ball. And yes, he's pressuring with 1 man, but he's not overcommitting at the moment. I think that's what's important.
And something we'll certainly be trying to highlight, much like we did with the last game with Nicolas on the breakdown board, is the effectiveness of the player switching in defence. Have to make sure that you're closing down those passing lanes, making that space disappear quicker than it appears. An attempted offside trap there to catch Mbappe, who whips it into the box. Falls to Vieira, little deflection. The first real striker goal goes to Tuga. Now he has a corner. Takes it short again, the little flick cross into the box, and there's the header. And it's Sergio Ramos who will convert from the set piece. Fantastically well worked and fantastically well finished.
We've seen quite a few games this tournament from Tuga where he's only won 1-0 across 2 legs. Could that be the only goal we see in this game? Are we going to now see him just hold the ball, frustrate his opponent, or is he going to press on? Because he looks like he's out for blood here. He's trying those back post crosses. He's shooting from distance as well. It just seems like he wants to get that ball in the back of the net. And now from the restart, Ajax Tor is going to have to answer back here. He couldn't really do much. He wasn't able to see anything of the ball. And from the set piece, it just seemed like it was too much to do. And now Tuga takes a goal lead.
I was going to say, if you had maybe a game plan coming into this, going 1 down is, it's pretty much bottom of that list, to be honest. Against a player like Tuga, who likes to hold the ball, who isn't concerned about scoring goals as long as it's enough to win a game. Now you've got to chase it. Now you've got to break him down, and we know how good he is defensively. Hullet into Mbappe. Maybe this is the chance, and Varane steps in for Tuga. Such a deep line, but he's so effective at making that tackle at precisely the right moment.
I mean, it just seems to be in always the right place at the right time, and that's exactly what you need when you are trying to defend against a player like Tor, who does know exactly where to be moving that ball on the pitch as he cues up a pause. Clearly not happy with something, might want to change something in his tactics right now. And Tor's had a couple of close games as well. I mean, his last 2 in the knockout rounds have both been 3-2. Only 1 goal in it. So I'm sure he's not going to be feeling too uncomfortable right now, but if he goes 2 goals down, that would be a scary factor.
You can see again, Tuga's just kind of inching his way towards goal, looking for the perfect opportunity, maybe to flick a ball up for a cross. We've seen him favour that quite a lot so far in this game, but R9 will get a little inception, and for all the hard work there for Ajax Tor, the ball's just going to ricochet out for a throw, but it does give him the chance to maybe make some of those changes. And I like the fact that he's kind of taking the initiative here, Dan, to change things up before Tuga gets too comfortable. Yeah, and probably just having a little think of, well, what's not working at the moment? Why aren't I able to snatch the ball back in some of these dangerous areas? How can I position my players so they're in a better place to cut the ball out, to make those interceptions? And that's why he's dived into these tactics screens. And for Tuga, I mean, he's picked up his season at the right time. He was doing phenomenally throughout the season, then he kind of dipped as we got to the E-Champions League stage. He didn't perform as well as maybe he would have liked and maybe what a lot of us expected from him. But now it seems like here at the playoffs he's found his form once again, and
Yes, okay, it can be a frustrating style to play against, but it's working for him. And at the moment, it doesn't look like anyone's going to be stopping him anytime soon.
Let's see how these tactics have been implemented by the Ajax man then. See if the Brazilian has had a little think, maybe a little discussion with his coach there in that pause about how to press Tuga, how to make life a little bit uncomfortable for him, because this is where he is comfortable, Dan, just playing the ball around. And you can see already more players committed a little bit higher up the pitch here for Tor. Trying to put the pressure on, he has won the ball back.
And now it's what you do with the ball. It's all well and good winning the ball back, but then there are going to be 11 players behind the ball for Tuga, and it's how you break him down. Always a good way to start is go down that wing, generate that little bit of space and try and cut inside.
And maybe the cricketer can find space. Neymar, beautiful scoop turn, and it's just wide of the upright, but what a chance that was for Tor. Fantastically well worked. And I've got to be honest, I was expecting that to be hitting the back of the net.
And the pause is cued, and just to allow both players to take a breather, and actually it's Tuga who's going into the tactics screen just to go a little bit more defensive and make that line even deeper. Perhaps he wasn't happy with that ball getting through there from Tor, because that was one hell of an opportunity. If he had been able to put that one away, I'm sure he would have been absolutely thrilled. Because when you get into a situation like that, when you have that much room for a shot after such a phenomenal turn, you're just expecting the ball to be nestling into the back of the net. You just got to stay focused, stay calm, not get frustrated, and just expect another chance to come.
Especially with a 5-star week foot of Neymar as well. You know, he timed the shot, and that was why I was so shocked not to see it in the back of the net as that opportunity arose. But that's scoop turn. When you do have your back to goal, it's so difficult to time a tackle. Get it wrong, and you give away a penalty. But here comes Ajax Tor again. He's started to grow into this first half a little bit here, but just as I say that, maybe looking for that little flick-up volley, but well marked there by Tuga.
He was really struggling to kind of bring his midfield and his strikers close together. All the strikers were there waiting on the edge of the box, but there was nothing in between, and that's why he was running up with Van Dijk and then with Hullet just to try and close that gap. Unfortunately, though, there was too many red shirts in between.
Well, he's managed to win the ball high up the pitch here, and this is something I love from the change that we saw from Ajax. So a lot of times you'll see players so comfortable with their tactics and how they want to play, but recognizing a game situation and how your opponent is playing just as important to breaking them down. Vieira now, a little bit of a loose touch, and he will invite Da Costa to join the attack just before half-time. Perfect time to score here for Ajax Tor and Mbappe. Da Costa and Hullet now linking up, and you can see so many players still behind the ball here for Tuga, and you just can't break it down.
And Tor just has no players in that little pocket just outside of the D. He can't do anything about it, so he's trying to encourage some of the players to drop back. Ronaldo eventually does, but Tuga has too many shirts swarming. He knows exactly what Tor is wanting to do, and Tor is going to have to utilize the space he has on the wings and try and break into the box from one of those sides. Because I don't think passing it onto the edge of the area is actually going to work out at the moment, as there's just too many bodies in the way.
Well, there is the half-time whistle then, and Tuga's game plan is working perfectly at the moment. 60% possession, the standout statistic outside of that one goal. But again, it's a very similar game plan that served him so well, and the worry here for Tor is the fact that we were talking about the knockout stages and goals conceded. Tuga has not conceded a goal in the knockout stages. That is probably the first time I've heard that done so far this season.
You know how Arsenal used to have the chance of 1-0 to the Arsenal? I'm sure that it's
1-0 to the Tuga.
Something like that for Tuga as well. It was really in Atlanta when he demonstrated this kind of method of sitting very deep, playing 4-4-2 and grabbing an early goal and then just holding on to that lead. And it's not an easy tactic to employ as well.
I think he's actually employing the 4-4-1-1 tactic now, which means that deep-lying player just behind the man up top can kind of come and join the defence, to be honest with you. Join Hullet, join Vieira, and make a three-man defensive wall, and that makes it even more difficult than the 4-4-2 to get round. Well, we're back underway now, and Hullet is on the attack here. Maybe a chance after the scoop turn! And Neymar couldn't find the back of the net the first time, but at the second time of asking, the Brazilian puts it home.
And finally, someone breaks through the wall of Tuga, and you're able to score against him, and now Tuga doesn't have the game plan of just sitting on this lead. He's going to have to attack again. But he did look comfortable in the first, 10-15 minutes, and I thought maybe he was going to keep going forward, he was going to look for more goals, but he did start to sit back. He did go into his tactics screen, he did adjust things so it was a deeper line. But now that's perfect for Tor off of the restart. And really is going to open up this quarter-final tie.
And the thing now is, can Tuga switch it up himself? He's got to get back into a position where he gets back into the lead, then can sit back. And that is the first goal, as we say, that he has conceded in the knockout stages, which is showing what a great job, to be honest, Ajax Tor has done to break down those defensive areas that have held so strong so far. And he's won the ball back again. And I think that if anyone's watching this so far, Ajax Tor has kind of worked something out in this game.
He seems to just have stepped up a little bit more and really responded to where Tuga's been positioning some of his players, and has allowed him to just intercept in the right areas rather than trying to man mark and chase him around. Instead, he's just getting himself into those little pockets, into those little gaps. And it's made it very difficult for Tuga to play the ball around in the way he'd like to.
Minutes gone in the first leg. As I say, as we expected, not been a game that's been full of attacking, flowing football. It's been a battle, it's been gritty, and Da Costa stepping in now for Ajax Tor. Has won the ball back, and maybe there is a chance to go forward now with Mbappe. The Frenchman with the cricketer into Ronaldo. Twist back into the tackle there, Vieira into the goal scorer, Neymar almost finds the return pass. And again, bodies just proving too many in number to get through.
You can really see the further we get into these tournaments, the more comfortable players look on the ball. Their dribbling skills are great. They know which skill moves they want to utilize to get into the box, and they're very difficult to tackle, and that's exactly what Tor offers going forward.
Well, here's Hullet then, and maybe a chance to go for goal. Went for a little finesse shot towards that top corner. He timed it green, but didn't get around the defender, and now R9, well, he gets past his man nice and simply with that little accelerated fake shot around the corner.
Part of the mind game sometimes, when you do see that goalkeeper moving, you just go for a finesse shot to try and catch them off guard and slot it into that top corner.
Well, there's a pocket of space here for Ruud Hullet. The attentions of Mbappe for the second time there momentarily set the ball free, but it's been brought back into possession here of Tuga. And it's such an interesting way. I'm sort of watching the game at the moment, trying to analyse how to break down the defensive shape here of Tuga. He has so many players central, but then, you know, he's got so many players covering those wide spaces as well.
Hullet is dropping in almost as like a fifth defender, just sitting between the two centre-backs, and that's why Tor is struggling to get the ball in the danger zones so he can play it through.
Scooped up towards that back post. Ronaldo got the jump on his man, but Alexandro showing just why he is a fantastic foot item to have. Just had enough about him, enough jumping statistics, and enough strength and physical attributes about him to hold off of the advances of the man at the back post.
But the good news for Tor is when he has been getting into those areas in the final third, his on-the-ball presence has been phenomenal. His scoop turns and his drag backs have been really difficult to defend for Tuga, and that's why he's been able to let fly with a couple of these shots. And realistically, he could be 2-1 up if he had found that early one from Neymar as well. So a lot of positives for him to focus on. He just needs to make sure that he switches on and carries on defending the way he is, because actually, Tuga has struggled to get into any dangerous areas ever since that first goal.
We can see some changes being made here. Lionel Messi has been introduced, as well as Kai Havertz. King Kai, maybe he needs to come up with a goal fit for a king to give Tuga a way to get the lead ahead of the second leg. But here's Ajax Tor again. CR7 into Ronaldinho. Alexandro can't quite fire that ball across to Ruud Hullet, but it will be recycled now, and again, it's just an edging forward, both these players.
But the thing is, he has to edge forward because there's just so many bodies in the way, and he wants to play this ball into the likes of Neymar, the likes of Ronaldinho in the box.
Mbappe now, you can see it's going to take one through ball, but there's essentially a line of defenders just outside the 6-yard box for Tuga.
If he doesn't hit that initial scoop turn, that initial turn with the player as soon as he passes it inside, there's 3 or 4 players just jumping on top of him, and he is going to lose the ball. And that's why he's reluctant to play those risky balls, because he doesn't want to give away possession. He doesn't want to give Tuga the chances. So he's waiting and waiting for that perfect opportunity. However, it just doesn't seem to be arising as much as he would like.
Sandro is going to be bundled over there, a little bit of afters. This referee's just going to come over and calm things down a little bit, but a free kick here for Tuga. Maybe a chance to once again get that ball into the air, look for that back post. But instead, it's going to be recycled across to Cancelo here.
And the recycling is important as well. With 10 minutes left, Tuga isn't wanting to give Tor too much possession, as he is going to now try and use this left wing again. And I would not be surprised if we're going to see another little scoop up and a cross, but great defending from Tor. That's one way to stop these crosses, is to get in the face of the attacker and make sure the cross can't even get there.
Another thing he's trying to do as well is utilise that offside trap as well. When he sees that ball is going to be attempted down the line, he's trying to step up, trying to catch Tuga offside. And that's another smart little decision he's trying to implement to his game to try and nullify these crosses. As we say, we know how effective the cross is, Dan. We know that it's at sometimes almost impossible to defend, but if you can stop the cross coming in, well, that's one way to stop things.
And the offside trap is a very dangerous game to play. MS Dasari is one of the best at actually implementing that into his game, and I'm sure that Tor has studied that and studied some of the best players. It seems to have worked out very well for him. It's made it frustrating for Tuga to get into the final third.
Oh, Modric was almost found in a pocket of space, but Lionel Messi will pick the ball up, and he's got some stamina still left in those legs to come forward and attack. He'll be in behind, but Alexandro again makes the interception, and towards the end of this first leg now, it's going to be Ajax Tor is going to be storming forward.
We've got all these arguments about left backs and who you should put there, and is Alexandro a weak link or not? He's done a really good job. Yes, okay, there's been one header at the back post, but aside from that, Sandro stood his ground and he's won the ball in certain areas.
Will it be a corner hit that provides the opportunity for potentially a winner? Mbappe puts it towards the back post. There's a man completely free. Paolo Maldini. It was as if his head was made of sponge. There was no power on that whatsoever.
Unfortunately, he was kind of tracking back to leave the area, to get back to his defensive duties, so he didn't have the momentum to try and head that one back into goal. And that's why we're still all tied up 1-1 between these two incredible FIFA players. We said it was going to be one for the purists. It has been slow, it has been methodical, but I am very impressed that Tor was able to come back into it when he went 1-0 down against Tuga.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. We'll take a look at the highlights from that first leg while we discuss some of the finer points tactically that I enjoyed, to be honest with you, in that game. You're saying one for the purists, and every single change that is made in this game, it is having an effect. And I love the fact that Tor decided about 20 minutes in to immediately change what was his starting tactical lineup.
Best part about that first goal as well, it was actually Cristiano Ronaldo losing a header in the box, and it's not something you see every day. So sometimes these headers just can't be combated, but that was timed green from Neymar. And you can see on his face, he knows that was an opportunity, but sometimes on the swivel, there is that chance of not being able to score the goal.
Well, they say, if first you don't succeed, try again. Very similar, and a 5-star week for there in effect. We knew before it was a scoop turn to the left, utilising the left foot of Neymar, but this time it's a scoop turn to the right, and this time he found the finish.
I think that's what you got to do. And something else that you've got to do is remind yourselves that the FIFA 19 Global Series is brought to you in part by Turtle Beach. And you can follow @TurtleBeach on Twitter, and you can tweet us using today's hashtag, which is Built4Fut. And you can win an Elite 2 Pro headset for yourself as well. Of course, having the chance to win that if you do use the hashtag. I'm sure I'm going to get on tweeting that just to see if I can win one, because I actually could do with a new Turtle Beach headset, Mark.
What happened to your last one?
Well,
don't worry about that. We'll
is
move
a
on.
great
Let's
game.
talk about the game ahead, and let's talk about the second leg. I think one thing I want to see from Tuga is it's a little bit more going forward, to be honest with you. I love the way that he's defending and, you know, absorbing the pressure, but I wonder, is there a plan B? Is there a plan C if he falls behind here to Tor? Because ever since those tactical changes, I do feel like Tor has been the player who's kind of been pulling the strings, if you like a little bit like a puppeteer, trying to break down the defense of Tuga. And concentrating for that long a period for Tuga, it's got to take it out of him mentally.
The simple answer, is there a plan B, is there a plan C, is yes, there is for Tuga. That's what the 4-4-2 offers. It can both be amazing defensively, but also going forward, it offers so much. If you push that line up, there are so many bodies flowing forward that you can take several different avenues to try and surprise your opponent with passes and through balls, and I think that Tuga will open that up if he does go behind in this game.
We're going to have to see how things work out then. You can see both players currently loading into this game. We're just moments away from getting the second leg underway. And what do you think about potential tournament winners in this game, Dan? Do you think that either of these players can go the whole way and really put a marker down for that FIFA E-World Cup as part of Team PS4 and potentially be one of those players who could lift that trophy?
I mean, Tuga has won the PlayStation side at a FUT Champions Cup before. So yes, he is more than capable of doing so. However, he would have to go up against the likes of Nicholas, and we've seen how good Nicholas has been at this tournament, and every tournament prior. It's going to be very difficult to do so. But when we get to these stages of any tournament, and you get 8 players that then cut down to 4, anyone can win it. They're all so closely contested, and it sometimes just comes down to very minor decision-making skills that all of these players have that can really make or break whether they are going on as winners or whether they're going on as runner-up.
Well, you can hear the crowd noise in the background. That can only mean one thing. It means we're back underway for our second leg. If you're just joining us, welcome along. Send us your predictions. Use the hashtag FIFA eWorldCup to let us know who you're supporting, who you think is going to take this game that we have in front of us. 1-1 on aggregate after our first leg. It was a tight one. You just feel it's going to come down to maybe a mistake, maybe a moment of brilliance, as Tor might be the first person to get a shot on the board, and a cheeky little back heel there almost created a chance for him.
Tor knows, though, if he beats that first man, if he gets that first turn and the space opens up, he's going to have a shot on goal. But it's then the plan B. If he doesn't get that turn, if he's not able to get the shot on goal, can he then pass it back? Can he recycle the play? He's really struggled to keep possession in those areas. As I say that, he throws away possession to Tuga here.
Well, here's Tuga again attacking down this line at the moment. Is he going to look for one of those scoop turns again? Gets it into Mbappe. It's the El Tornado. It's up in the air, and it's a battle in the middle. I think the referee's actually pulled it back for a free kick here. A little bit of an afters.
Thought it was a penalty then.
From the El Tornado, I did momentarily, but the referee has brought it back here. Another chance for Tuga, maybe to get that ball up into the air, attack it with one of those big units that he has there. Cristiano Ronaldo, the man that he's controlling.
Does scoop it up, but it's not going to be enough because Ajax Tor reads it perfectly and controls Hullet just to make sure he watches him, and he watches the wandering eye.
Big chance though, and it's into, Ronaldo! And you have to worry, having won that ball so high up the pitch, was that the chance that Tuga needed?
We speak about
get
mistakes.
himself in the lead, that's huge.
And if either of these players are going to make a mistake, you have to take advantage of it because there's not going to be many mistakes made by these two guys.
Well, Tuga's come out of the traps here. Again, the El Tornado in towards the back post. De Gea will come out to claim that cross. However, different start to this game than what we saw from that first leg. Ajax Tor really has had to weather the storm here, but the most important thing we say, when you are under pressure in FIFA 19, you have to keep it tight. If you can get through that period, you can survive, you can move on.
Well, it was the 14th minute that Tuga scored in the first leg, and it looks like Tor has weathered that initial storm, and now he can control the ball and play it around and look to see if he can penetrate those areas that Tuga has been defending so successfully throughout the first leg. But look at the space. He's got Hullet and Vieira in the middle, but there's not a striker in sight because they are being man-marked by about 5 different people.
Well, Vieira here maybe has the chance to pick a pass, and he has done so. Mbappe towards the back post. Cancelo wins the header. And Tuga almost had to take a dose of his own medicine there.
And I think that maybe Tor might have to suck up his pride a little bit and say, okay, if I can't play my passing game into the box, 2 can play at that game, Tuga. And I can also go for a couple of back post headers as well.
A switch of the play then, again, just trying to stretch the defence here of Tuga. Really make him work with those player switches, cutting those passing lanes. And here's Da Costa, he's going to say thank you for that space. I'm happy to go into it and maybe look for a cross myself instead. Decides to come back inside. There is that little flick up, well defended by Mbappe. Tuga wins the ball back.
Tor does have to be careful not to be predictable, though. That one was a little bit obvious and very easy to defend for Tuga. He maybe could have tried to fake it as if he was going to cross and then cut back in on himself and look for the pass. Just try and be as unpredictable as possible. But I understand that Tuga is making it very difficult for him to get into the areas he'd like to.
Well, there is a little bit of space in behind Van Dijk here, and he's been fouled. Neymar! Oh! That will not be in our PS4 plays of the day.
I mean, I was thinking, what a defensive block that was from Maldini, and then it goes out for a goal kick, and it's just Ronaldo missing essentially an open goal. Maybe too heavy on that shoot button, or maybe it's just one of those player errors that you can't do much about.
And maybe it's going to be one of those opportunities that plays on your mind. How did that not go in? How did I miss that chance? He did everything right up to that point, and now maybe Ajax Tor. Maybe that's the little slice of luck that he needs in this game to push forward now, to try and create a chance of his own. Da Costa Finds Mbappe again. Sandro's going to defend well. Strength again, the physicality of the Juventus left back is just on display for all to see.
As Tuga is not inclined to slow this one down like he usually is. He seems to be trying to expose the fact that Tor is pushing up a little bit and he's noticing more gaps, but what a great challenge that is from Tor, getting stuck in. And now he wants to take advantage. It is being sped up ever so slightly the further we get into this game.
Yeah, starting to get a little bit nervy, to be honest with you. You can see both players starting to misplace a few passes, starting to find a little bit less space than they were before. But now there is space here for Alexandro. In again towards Ronaldo! And this time he makes no mistake.
And once again, Tuga regains his lead and puts the pressure back onto Ajax Tor into the second half of this second leg. He's got 10 minutes left in the first half to try and get back into it. But unfortunately, he just couldn't keep the ball out of the back of the net. Ronaldo with acres of space for a header. And he missed a gaping chance earlier, but he makes up for it now. As Tor gonna have to go again from the restart and have to somehow try and stop a wait for Tuga getting these crosses in.
It has been an aerial bombardment from Tuga. He just hasn't, unfortunately, been able to deal with it, to be honest with you. So difficult to deal with, as we know. Well, maybe he can go at the other end now from the restart, create a chance himself. Or maybe, as we say, he takes a little page out of Tuga's book. Looks to whip across in himself, Sandro. Goes all the way back to Van Dijk here, and the centre-backs now, Maldini will step out.
But look how Maldini's having to step out. He's having to press up with his centre-backs because he can't find space with his strikers.
Well, there's a touch of space here for Neymar, not a lot, and unfortunately, a little disappointing touch there from the Brazilian means that on the counter-attack now, Tuga maybe can break.
And this is just playing perfectly into the hands of Tuga.
Mbappe now inside the box as well. Maldini has to come across to deal with it. There's a Croqueta and an Elastico, but it's one back here.
And I wonder whether Tor now has to try and commit players forward, hope that Tuga does try and hit him on the counter-attack, and then he can hit him on the counter-attack, so there's not as many bodies in the way. But he really has had to dribble halfway up the pitch with the likes of Maldini, with the likes of Van Dijk, because he just hasn't been able to find his natural attacking players because they're just being marked out of the game as Tuga again will attack the left-hand side.
Maybe a chance just before half-time. There's a Croqueta, make it two. A Croqueta. It was a nervy time there, and I got a little bit nervous, to be honest with you, with how I was trying to pronounce the word Croqueta, but as you can see here, it is a lead here for Tuga, and a little reminder for you guys at home to link your EA and Twitch accounts to be eligible to win some cool stuff like an Mbappe Team of the Season for item. Look at that bad boy. Rare player packs and much, much more. And anyone, of course, who is a linked PlayStation account as part of the FIFA 19 Global Series will receive an awesome little kit there to enjoy at home. But Team of the Season, Kylian Mbappe.
I mean, confirmed, pretty much every person on that screen there probably owns some form of Mbappe because they all have ridiculous teams at home, and I'm sure you guys would love to have an Mbappe on your side as well, and also that fantastic PlayStation kit. Now, for Ajax Tor, Mark, things are getting a little bit dicey, aren't they? He's really struggling to actually find any space and really find any creativity, and that's just because Tuga is stemming all of that creativity with his defensive approach. There are just too many bodies in the way, and Tor doesn't seem to have an answer. I think he's going to have to play Tuga his own game. Go down the wing, cross it at the back post. If Tuga's going to do it, Tor can do it as well.
Get the big men on. I think there is space out wide. You can see how many bodies are actually in the box whenever we see Tor trying to make progress towards the edge of that box. You've got the likes of R9 dropping in. You've got the likes of Hullet and Vieira. They're pretty much playing as centre-backs, and the centre-backs are basically playing as goalkeepers almost, to be honest with you. They're playing so deep, but it is such an effective way to play FIFA 19 that you can't really blame Tuga for the way that he's playing. He's having so much success with it. I
think some players would be able to break down Tuga better than others. Those who are very good at skill moves and those who are good at beating players. And we saw Shells yesterday score one of the Adidas plays of the day where he did like 8 different skill moves in the box. A player like that will be like, all right, you can sit back because I'm going to take advantage of it. Whereas Tor, even though he's very good on the ball, he hasn't been able to chain enough skill moves to beat 3, 4, 5 players. It's only been 1 or 2, and then suddenly he's swarmed by everyone else. but he is coming very close with that initial turn. He's trying the scoop turn every time he gets the ball in the box. And if he can generate that space, he should be able to get the shot away, and he could get an equaliser. But, yes, it's not a pretty way to play FIFA. Tor can also cross the ball. He hasn't been doing it much, and I know that's probably not his game style and it's not his game plan. But if you're being forced to do that by the way Tuga's playing, then I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. You've got to kind of put the ego to the side and just, as you say, play him at his own game. Take a page out of that book. So Tuga, again, being so effective on the virtual pitch with the way that he's approaching FIFA 19 here. 2-1, the score on aggregate. 1 goal the difference, though, Dan. That's the one thing we should keep in note. The fact it is only 1 goal, but also to add some context, it's the only goal of the knockouts so far that Tuga has conceded.
And also, I mean, so much on the line, not just pride, but also prize money. Another 10,000 would be awarded to these players. They've already got 10,000, a total of 20,000 for getting to the semi-finals. That's US dollars, of course. And then the chance to play in that semi-final to get towards the final, where you can get a grand total of $75,000 for the winner. It was Mr. Stokes who walked away with it back in Hamburg. I wonder, are we going to see a surprise package here in Berlin? Of course, only Lost in the Waves, the only real outsider now left in the tournament. And I'm sure that the player of Footwiz Marco will be watching on open. He's eliminated.
Oh. Maybe that's the way to get through it. Take a strike from distance. Get yourself a set piece. What a save that was from De Gea there. The Manchester United goalkeeper just flying across to his right-hand side to deny Ajax Tor. It will be whipped in, and De Gea should deal with that. And sometimes, when Tor has managed to get through on goal, he's got past the midfield, he's got past the defence, the goalkeeper's come up trumps.
Got to be honest, that's a really poor corner as well. Just putting it right on top of the goalkeeper. You've either got to go front post or back post. Either he didn't get the power right or the positioning was off. But you've got to do better. His corners are such a fantastic opportunity to get yourself back into the game.
Well, here's Sandra again on this left-hand side. This time goes inside to Neymar. Again, patient, precise build-up, and another switch of the play here to bring Cancelo in. The 4-star skills can be effective when that fullback gets forward. There's that Croqueta up his sleeve. And again, the offside trap, trying to squeeze the play here on Tuga to win the ball back, but again, just great possession play.
I think we're going to have to see a pause from Tor, and you're going to have to change your formation, and you're going to have to throw everything forward. And just as I say that, like clockwork, the pause is called. And I'm sure he is now going to be changing formations, maybe something like a 3-5-2, just to generate more pressure higher up on the pitch here, because it's too easy for Tuga right now. It's like a training ground regime, right?
It is keep ball. It's literally what it is at the moment. It's keep ball for Tuga. He doesn't have to do anything. The score stays as it is. He wins the game. And now finally, as he approaches the final third, maybe an opportunity to go forward, maybe an opportunity to strike on goal, but no, again, great discipline from him.
It's almost like, you know, when you go to school as a year 7 and you play against the year 11s and they're just playing the ball around and you can't get it back. I'm sure that's how Ajax Tor is feeling. But he will pause. And for all the chances that Tor actually has had in terms of getting in the box, he's only actually been able to get that 1 shot away. So maybe not enough shots being made from him as he dives into the tactics screen, and he is going to be pushing everything up. And as I expected, it's going to be 3 at the back as well.
I think it's a smart formation to use, to be honest with you, against Tuga.
I mean, you've got 23 minutes or you're out of the competition.
I don't think, even from the start of the game, I don't think it's the worst formation to be using. It might give you, if you set those wing-backs to track back, you know, you've got that cover out wide and it really can help you out. But back on the pitch, maybe a free kick opportunity here for Tuga to extend that lead. Instead, decides to recycle the ball once more.
You know how we used to have the expression tassing it around? Are we going to be changing that to Tuga-ing it around? It doesn't really have the same ring to it, though. I'm going to be completely honest. Tuga certainly is playing keep ball.
Well, here's Sandro then. Can't get the little pull back there to the man waiting, and it will be
okay.
Possession turned over here to Ajax Tor, so a chance for him to Get forward, try and create that chance that he so desperately needs at this point.
He just needs to really up the pace here. I know he's going to be reluctant to give the ball away because as soon as that ball does get given away, Tuga's not going to be giving it up. He's going to be playing it around. He's going to be keeping it away from him. He's going to be frustrating him. But you have to generate a bit of pace because you don't have much time left. But now, is Tuga going to actually go for a counter-attack? That's the real question. Or are we going to see him slowly hold on to the ball? It looks like he's going to try and retain it. He wants to play this one out. He wants his spot in the semi-final. He wants his third semi-final of the season.
Maybe he wants another goal here just to put this one to bed. CR7, heel to heel after the cricketer, manages to keep hold of possession. And you can see Ajax, the second man press does work as Sandro comes across to help out his teammate. He can't release the ball upfielder, can't find a teammate. And that's going to be minutes off the clock. Usually I say at least seconds, but the way that Tuga's held the ball, you can almost guarantee minutes, but there's no such thing as a guarantee in FIFA 19.
You can understand why Tor is trying to rush it. He's trying to rush it because he sees loads of red shirts out of position, and he wants to take advantage of that. His best chance of scoring a goal is going to be on a counter-attack, and if he's able to actually find one of these rushed passes, he should be in a good chance to have a situation where maybe he gets at least, I wouldn't say a 1v1 against the keeper, but maybe a 1v3 at the bare minimum.
Well, here's Havertz for Tuga again. Torres trying his best to put pressure on the ball, but he's moving it so well around the pitch, and you can't get strikes on goal when your opponent has just got the ball in his possession. He wins it back, though. 8 minutes left on the clock here for the man from Ajax to finally push forward, to finally maybe carve another chance out.
He's having to push forward with his fullbacks and with his centre-backs again to try and get as many men up into that final third. He just needs that penetrating through ball to get this equaliser.
Well, it tries to fire it into CR7, and Varane had got his body in the way. And is that going to be the end of it here for Ajax Tor?
I mean, he's kept the ball for about 70 minutes. I'm sure 4 more minutes is not going to be difficult for him as well. It's whether Tor can get one of these interceptions as he's desperately player switching around to try and win the ball back, to try and apply the pressure in the right areas. But it's just so calm, it's so easy for Tuga. There's so much room at the back. There's just not enough players on the pitch for Tor to win this ball back.
Cancelo turns into trouble momentarily, and it will be a throw in here. It's the last chance to get forward, the last throw of the dice. Everybody needs to get up the pitch here for Ajax Tor. 2 minutes of added time. Van Dijk tries to take control of the situation and stride forward, but Lionel Messi wins it back. And with that tackle from the little Argentine, maybe that's the end of the road here, but he wins it back as the final whistle goes. It was effective and it was professional. And it keeps Tuga's run alive.
It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done for Tuga. The real question on my lips, is it going to work? The further he gets into this tournament, the players that he has to face in the latter stages of this round. I'm sure that would have been a frustrating experience for Ajax's Tour, but Tuga does go through. He's secured himself $20,000 now. It's another semi-final. Will he march on to the final? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, his levels of concentration absolutely superb, to be honest with you. And the way that he was able to keep hold of that ball was, it can't be understated, to be honest. We'll throw some of the highlights up while we keep discussing this, but the ability to have the concentration, the nous, to not make mistakes, especially when someone of the level and the caliber of Ajax Tor is pressing you and trying to win that ball back. It really is just, you know, it's mental perfection.
To concede only 1 goal across 3 rounds of FIFA, so that's 6 games of FIFA, is absolutely mental. And really shows that he has found an effective tactic of sitting back, defending, playing the ball around, being very calm, holding that possession. And yes, I'm not going to be